It made no sound. It just went like that.
Yeah.
No sound. Didn't go through the air. Go shh like that. It's just like that. Within a second, it came at me. Came to those the telephone wires that height, and went that way. And I remember when it went that way, I didn't go like, "Where'd you go?" I just said, "It's gone." So that's how fast that thing was moving. And then Willie Ray and his story. And then this light up on this hill, boy. If that happens, you know, if it comes back again, I'll get a hold of you. I was gonna call you up. I was gonna, you might gotta see this. I started to observe it each night. It was in the winter and it was cold. Some nights were like 0. I brought my binoculars. I wrapped them so they didn't get cold. And I had a chair purposely over there, right in a position where I could look at it. And I would just kind of put the binoculars right on to get so I wasn't shaking. And I would stare right into that light. And it was like a beam. Even though it wasn't noticeable, but it was these little stringy, I don't know what it was. It was like a ray coming out of it. And it would move like this, watch my hand. And it would just move very slow, not fast at all, very slow. Eventually it was coming right into my eye. Let's see who this is.
Mike Parsons, leave me a message. Have a good day. Thank you.
I like your voicemail.
Hey Mike, it's Tim. The kids are just finishing up with their Easter egg stuff here pretty quick. Food will probably be ready in about a half an hour.
I'm gonna be late.
Yeah.
Okay, do you wanna go across the street?
Yeah. I'll go check that out.
He wants me down there. It was 2005, I'm staring across the road, and as I'm in this deep thought, way across the road, I thought it was a helmet, someone on a all-terrain vehicle, because it was vibrating. Why isn't it moving? It looks like it should be moving, but the more I think about it, it could have been radiation coming off it, or heat. It was dirty purple, like a dirty, ugly purple, kind of, it reminded me of those boom boxes, you know, kind of, or a gas tank to a motorcycle. It had like a little bit of a roundness to it. It just flung right at me. You gotta realize this happened within a second.
This place is beautiful. I first found it while I was doing geocaching. Mike Parsons had a geocache set up in this area. I followed the map and ended up at his house. He's always wanted to turn this area into a public park of sorts.
When I came here in 1983, you couldn't even see it. It was so overgrown. There was a fence around it. The town put a fence around it, and it just became like the vines, pricker bushes, and then the town would come in and they would like mow in there and weed whack, you know, and then it would just grow up again. I went in there and I put years into it. But anyway, his son was buried. He was only 16. He was 1818 September. He's buried with that tall gravestone. So then there's a guy called Whiston. He died in 1837. He was 65 or something like that, 63. Him and his daughter is buried there. He was only like 20. And then the mother died young. Her name was Millie. The mother died like in 1820. Mary Jane Stetson is buried there. That's it. She was 21 years, and she died May 25th, 1849. There's a baby buried there. He's only 12 days old. And then the last burial is this Mima Colson. She was like 71 years old. She died in October 1865.
Okay. It's too blurry. Focused. There we go. Still not focused. This is the field where all these mysterious stories are said to be happening, or at least in close proximity to it. The Willie Ray story occurred in just beyond the tree line below, right in a separate field, but close to this area. Mike claims that in March of 2005, he saw an object hovering above this area from his driveway, and it was just remaining stagnant in the sky until it flew right toward him, super fast like a bullet, had a little shake and took a sharp left all the way toward Morris. In the late afternoon, when day turns to dawn, Mike will be here on his field, sitting in his chair with a late evening cup of coffee. Many times he'll come across mysterious lights with no explanation, not just a plan. This is Stetsonville, Mike's home. Mike Parsons is an archeologist. He goes around and collects Indian arrowheads that he finds in local fields or burial sites. During my first visit here, he gave me an Indian knife that I still have to this day. For 30 years, he had a display set up at Gilbert Lake State Park. That's how I first knew of him, knew of his name. And tonight, I will be setting up camp in his field. All I got for light is a lantern, and I see a bonfire over there, so I'm guessing that's Mike.
The idea, if one blows out, the other ones will reignite it. Willie Ray was born in 1930 in Gilbertville. The reason I know this because I interviewed him, you know, and he had 17 kids. He had 17 kids. And he worked for the farm and just was like a total alcoholic, beer, you know. And he was what he was. He was a redneck. He was like, you didn't want to, you know, you weren't going to start trouble with him. But he didn't look for any trouble. And I just always got along with him, respected him, you know. And in 1988, it was in the summer too. It was like, you know, when they first start plowing fields, you know. And I went down to it used to be called the Big M. The Big M is where the Dollar General is. You probably knew it as a kid. And he was in the parking lot, and I said, hey Willie, how you doing? And he just, I could tell he had something on his mind, you know. It wasn't like, hey, Mikey, or something like that. He was just, he goes, he's like crying. I go, what happened? He goes, and I didn't know what happened. He goes, I go, what's wrong, Willie? He goes, I don't want to tell anyone. No one's going to believe me anyway. I know I drink. They're going to think because I drink, you know, he went on. I go, I'll listen to you. He goes, I saw this. I didn't explain what I saw. I go, well, tell me about it. And he went into, he goes, you're down below your house, the field. You know, I go, oh yeah. Because I was plowing. So it was, you know, a beautiful sunny day. And as he's plowing, up in the tree that bordered the field, the maple tree, all the leaves were down because it was spring. He said he thought it was his exact words, he thought it was a hubcap because it was shining past, you know, through the leaves. And, you know, he said, just something like that, you know, who cares, but he was bothered by it. He goes, oh, what is it? You know, it was this, he said it was beautiful, shiny silver. So he stopped the tractor and he walked up to the tree. And that tree border, like you'd have the barbed wire and it was right over the barbed wire. So they were plowing like right up to where that tree was. He said he looked up and he goes up. It wasn't resting on a branch, it was just kind of in the tree, and he smoked those Lucky Strike, those with no filter. He took a cigarette out, he said 3 flames, and they were in a tripod. 1, 2, 3. He said a blue flame would come down the bottom, like come out of it, and go back up like this. Almost like a Bunsen burner flame, you know. And he said, Mike, it was the most shiniest chrome, like he never saw anything so shiny. It was egg-shaped. So he was a real redneck. He goes, he had a shovel on the tractor. He always had to knock the door a couple hours a week. So he goes, I'm going to get he wanted to bang it because it was just like hit into it. And he said he went back to the tractor and got on the tractor and just said, oh, it's my daughter's birthday. I got to get this done because I got to be ready to go to her. We're having a barbecue, you know. And he finished plowing and just took it out of his mind. So when he got back to the house, he goes, he came back to him. So I went home that day. And I walked from my house across right here, and down across that field. I went down across that field. I went down to where he said it happened. And it was almost spooky. That was a perfectly plowed field, not a print on it. It was all perfectly plowed dirt. And you can see right where his tractor came up, like he said, and there was footprints that went up to that tree, and then the footprints went back to where the tractor was, just like he said, so he wasn't lying.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
You have a good night, Mike. Take care. This is not a night vision camera. That's one thing I'm going to work towards at some point. I'd like to get a night vision camera. There's Mike's house in the distance. I've never slept in a cemetery before. Not at night. Been to them at night, just never slept at one. It's a little star. Huh. It's so bright, even the camcorder can catch it. Getting my little setup for the night. Have my journal, the lantern, the pillow. So I'm just about to settle in for the night. I went walking around the field again, back to the waterfall, back in the woods, and just stared up at the stars for a little bit. Felt the wind around me, took a little stroll through the cemetery, and I'm about to sleep. Take a rest for the night. And wake up to the morning to hopefully a beautiful sunrise. I'm looking forward to it. I'd say the eeriest part about all of this is hearing the wind blow against the tent. It's been constant. Constant rattling and push against the fabric of the walls. All noise. Coming from the other side. My battery's just about close to dead right now. I don't know what time it is, but it's beautiful out right now. It's by some gray clouds. Feels good. Hear the birds again. What I'm probably gonna do is grab my journal, just start writing away for a little bit. A little visit to the stream and the waterfall.